What's up, gays and gals? My name is Shayna and I am back today with another video. Today I'm going to be doing another book related video and I'm going to be just talking about two of the books I've read this month and how I feel about them. I read primarily on Kindle Unlimited. If you've seen my last book related video, if not, I will link it down below. Check it out, and while you're there, please subscribe. I greatly appreciate it. So let's just jump right into it, baby. Actually, let's not jump right into it before I address. I know I look kind of clown-like, marionette-like, but I was feeling down and I was like, I just want to look crazy, you know? So I went for that. Let me know down below if you like this subtle no makeup look. Okay, first book that I read this month. I mentioned it at the end of my last video about books, but I read Where the Forest Meets the Stars by Glendy Vandera. And this book I loved 99% of. I was like between a 4 and a 5 stars when I was reading it. I was like, hell yes, this is going really great. It's very whimsical. It's lovely. The writing is really enjoyable. And I was just digging it. I loved it. I didn't go through it very quickly. It's not like a thrilling book at all, but it is just like a lovely book, an enjoyable book. And it kind of follows, so there's this scientist lady, I think she's like mid-20s, and she's dealt with some hard stuff. She's dealt with loss and cancer and things like that. And this little girl kind of like comes into her life, and we don't know where this girl comes from. She says that she comes from like a planet far away, Ursa Major, and she is just like quirky and strange and very smart and just like beautiful. There's a beautiful dynamic, like a found family element, which I really love. I thought it was just like such an enjoyable read until the end, and I didn't like the ending. Maybe I as a reader, or maybe Glendy as a writer, kind of ran out of steam. I thought that the conclusion was weird. I wish it had been left a little bit more open-ended in some ways. And I just felt completely like disappointed with the book at the end. And I can't even confidently give this book a 4 stars because of the ending, which is really hard for me. And I just did not feel satisfied with the end of this book. However, I would still recommend, if you are interested, if you have Kindle Unlimited, what have you, I would still recommend picking this book up. I think it's a very good read. I think that it's worthwhile, and it's a very hopeful, kind of just like an optimistic, I already said whimsical, but whimsical read that I feel like so many people could use right now, is like that kind of magical element and just like allowing themselves to kind of fall into this world. So I tentatively give it a 4 stars for most of the book, a 3 to 2 stars for the ending. I don't really know if you can do that, but that was the first book that I read this month, and it actually did take me kind of a little while to get through. The next book I read took me like 2 days to get through. I zoomed through it, and it was also a disappointing read. So the next book that I read was called Unspeakable Things, and it was by Jess Laurie. And this book I loved reading. Like, I was so intrigued. I thought, and it's basically from the perspective of, I think she's 12 years old, and her family is just weird. They're kind of hippies, but her dad has a bad temperament and he's creepy and weird. And like, it's just like, so basically what happens is some boys start disappearing and they come back and they're changed. They've been assaulted, and it's kind of follows like the mystery, and there's just like some strange underlying tension that's going on throughout the book, and it follows her and her sister. And I loved reading this book. I thought the way it was written was so cool. I want to read you guys a couple passages. If I stretched overhead, my fingertips could play the hangers like wind chimes. Their sweet Tinkerbell song settled my bones usually. Everything was arranged perfectly for sleep, but it was a no-go. And I knew exactly why. It was the thirst. So this book, while I was reading it, I also was like 4 stars, 5 stars even. I was so intrigued. I really wanted to know more. And then I quickly realized that on my Kindle, I have like the percentage left of the book. Like that's how I track it. And I was like, wow, I still have so many questions. And we're like 75% of the way through. 80% of the way through, 90% of the way through. And I was like, how is this gonna wrap up? The answer was poorly, in my opinion. I hated the ending of this book way more than I hated Where the Forest Meets the Stars. The end of this book was so disappointing. I closed it and I was like, what? I cannot even believe it was published. Like, it was the way that they tied up the loose strings was so, it was not good at all. I almost, like, I would give this book 3 stars because the ending is that bad. It really just affected the way I viewed the whole book, and especially because it's a thriller-esque book. And you're building the tension and there's like lots of suspicion and there's lots of suspicious behavior that is just kind of explained away very sloppily at the end. And I just was like, what the hell, dude? Like, I was just like, no way they're gonna leave me hanging like this, man. And yeah, so that book was like, what? And once again, that was Unspeakable Things by Jess Laurie. I can't recommend this book because of the ending. I just feel like you are gonna get blue balls from this ending if you're someone like me who loves the tension. And like, for me, I loved that there wasn't a lot of explicit stuff along the way, especially like in terms of family. There was like a lot of family dynamics, which I really love. A lot of really interesting dynamics going on, a lot of things that were hinted at but not said directly in terms of like abuse and things like that. But I thought we were gonna get more answers than we did, and ultimately I was just like, boo. Like, I honestly was shocked by the ending, like, in a bad way. I was like, there is no way. Like, that is what Jess Laurie had intended from the start of the book. It seemed like she needed to wrap it up, and she just wrapped it up. So yeah, that was my second disappointing read. And now what I'm reading is the book, or the series, I suppose, that like everyone and their freaking cousin has read, and that is the Divergent series. Let me know what you guys think of this series down below. I love the Hunger Games series. I think I read the Hunger Games, like the trilogy, in like 2 days. I devoured it. I thought it was so good. I will fight anyone who doesn't like the Hunger Games series. I haven't read it in a few years, but I would definitely be willing to read it again. And I think that this series came out right around the same time as the Hunger Games series, and a lot of people compare the two. I haven't seen the movie, so I'm going in completely blind. I actually have no idea what it's about, but I love this kind of like, I guess it's not post-apocalyptic, but I love this kind of like futuristic type teenage fun. I don't know. I like books like that. I love the Hunger Games, like I already mentioned. And let me know if you guys have any other recommendations on Kindle Unlimited. I will be doing more books like this. I will be doing more videos like this in the future, so if you like this content, please give me a like, comment, and subscribe. I really enjoyed not reading these books because they were disappointing, but I enjoyed filming this video for you guys. I enjoy reading and knowing that it's gonna produce some cool content for you all. So join me next time, and I will be talking about the Divergent series. So if that's exciting for you, stick around. Love you all dearly, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye, baby.